What's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to Get Hit with the Truth. So today, going to discuss the what's next for the reigning WBO featherweight champion of the world, Emanuel Navarrette. Navarrette successfully defended his title on Friday, October 15th, with a hard-fought but deserving 12-round unanimous decision over Joet Gonzalez. Gonzalez hit the fight to Navarrette. He did, but Navarrette is just his length, his awkwardness, his ability to hit you from different angles. That really was the difference. And, he outworked Gonzalez and got a deserving decision. But again, Gonzalez, hats off to him. He fought hard. He fought a good fight, but it just wasn't enough. So, Gonzalez, for me, just barely drops out of the top 10. He's close to the top 10 after a hard-fought performance against Navarrette, but I have him just slightly out of it. So now the big question for Navarrette is what's next for Emanuel Navarrette. I currently have him number 3 in the top 10 at featherweight right now. Some people could argue him at number 1, and I wouldn't have a problem with it. He is a 2-division world champion. But let's run him through the top 10 and see what could possibly be next for him. We start with the guy that I have number 1 right now, and that's contender Mauricio Lara. Lara, pretty much he's number 1 for his absolute beatdown of Josh Warrington. Right now it looks like a rematch is probably going to happen between Lara and Warrington, but we don't know when. Lara had that tough cut in the rematch with Warrington that stopped the fight, and it made it a no contest. So they're talking about a third fight against Warrington, but Warrington's already said that he might stay busy in between. So we don't know when Lara's going to come back, but it looks like he's focusing on that fight. But man, I would love to see Lara and Navarrete. I think that would be a straight slugfest. 2 Mexican warriors going at it for the title. And maybe Lara will shift his attention towards a world title instead of towards a rematch with Josh Warrington. We just got to wait and see. So next, I'm going to lean towards probably the less likely, but I would love to see the fight. Number 2 is the reigning IBF champion, Kid Galahad. Now, Galahad's returning in November, taking on former 122-pound champion, Kiko Martinez. This should be a cakewalk for Galahad, just to keep himself busy. Stay busy fight against the former champ from 122, Martinez. I don't think Galahad's going to struggle with him. After that, will Galahad be making a mandatory defense in the first half of next year? Will he be looking at another world champion? I would love to see Navarrete and Galahad, their promotions, work out a deal here. But I'm going to say that Bob Arum and Top Rank don't want to take the risk against a guy like Galahad. So they're going to probably keep Navarrete fighting top rank guys, because there are a couple out there that are in the top rank stable. But I think this fight's a better fight to determine the best fighter in the division. But I'm not sure if Bob Arum wants that fight, but I would love to see it. Again, I got Navarrete number 3. So number 4 after him is former IBF champion Josh Warrington. Warrington, like I said, looks like he's probably going to try to stay busy in his next fight and then focus on a rematch with Mauricio Lara, a third fight. I guess Warrington could shift his attention to Navarrete. Does Navarrete want to fight a guy who got pretty much beat down a couple fights ago against Mauricio Lara? Not sure about that. I mean, it's not. I think Navarrete would like the name on his resume, so I don't think he'd, shy away from it if it was on the table. But I don't know if Warrington wants anything to do with Navarrete, to be honest. Number 5 is the WBA Super Champion, Leo Santa Cruz. Well, Leo Santa Cruz looks like he has at least his next 2 fights sealed up. He's going to make a return from his devastating knockout loss to Gervonta Davis last year. He's going to return likely in December, maybe even on the Gervonta Davis undercard, and he'll stay busy, come back down to 126 title defense. And then after that, he's going to have to fight the winner of Michael Conlon and Lee Wood, who are competing for the WBA regular belt. So I'd love to see Navarrete and Santa Cruz I don't think it's possible. Plus the promotions, I really don't think they'd come together either way. So I'm not seeing this one. Number 6 is Lee Wood of the United Kingdom. Again, he looks to have, as long as he's victorious, his next 2 fights sealed up. Looks like he's gonna take on Michael Conlan in a title defense, and if he gets by Michael Conlan, he's got a huge showdown with Leo Santa Cruz in the first half of next year. So we'll see, but it doesn't look like Lee Wood and Navarrete is an option. Number 7 is former WBA champion Can Shu of China. I would love to see this fight, but I don't think it's possible, to be honest. Shu Can's coming off a tough knockout loss to Lee Wood. He got beat down in that fight, lost, got stopped in the 12th round. Would he want to come back against a guy like Navarrete? Would Navarrete want to fight him coming off that loss? Plus, it's Golden Boy working with Top Rank. It's not a must-see fight. I'm not seeing it. Number 8 is former world title challenger Tukshko Nyambayar from Mongolia. I like the fight. I think it'd be a great matchup, but Nyambayar coming off of a loss, couple losses in his last 3 fights, but he's coming off a loss to Chris Colbert in an attempt at 130. He's gonna come back down to 126. I mean, in all likelihood, he is. And then, but then it's PBC working with Top Rank, and again, unless it's a mandatory fight or a must-have fight, I don't see it happening. I mean, I don't see the 2 sides working together. I don't even know if Navarrete would want this fight, just because Nyambayar is coming off of losses in 2 of his last 3 fights. It just doesn't make sense. Number 9 would be a 3rd fight with Isaac Dogbay, the former 122-pound champion. Now, Navarrete, he outworked, got a convincing decision the first time he fought Dogbay, and then beat him down the second time and stopped him in 12 rounds. And that was in 2018 and 2019. Dogbay came back last year, got a win. Is trying to climb back into the mix now at 126. I know a 3rd fight has been talked about before, but is that a fight that Navarrete really needs next? I mean, just to get the name on his resume? What would a 3rd win over Isaac Dogbay mean when Dogbay really hasn't done damn near anything since their back-to-back fights in 2018 and 2019? So I'm not seeing it. I don't think it makes sense unless Dogbay goes out and mandates the fight or beats somebody significant to get the fight. And then lastly, at number 10 is former 122-pound champion Jesse Magdaleno. I still believe this fight's possible. I think Magdaleno's going to have to come back for the end of the year and shake off the rust and get a win. And then if he's down, he can have this fight. This fight almost happened last year. It was a mandatory fight, but Magdaleno didn't like what he was going to get paid to fight Navarrete, so he backed out of it. Now that COVID and everything's lifted and, these fighters are probably making more what they're used to, would Magdaleno be interested in fighting Navarrete finally? I would hope so, and I would love to see it in the first half of next year. And it's an easily makeable fight with both fighters being with Top Rank. But Magdaleno's got to want it first. And I do think this is maybe the most likely fight, but I'm not going to seal it and write it in stone until I hear that Magdaleno's really interested. And also, he's got to come back and shake off some rust. He hasn't fought since June of last year. So he's got to come back and shake off some rust and get a win under his belt before he goes after Navarrete. But for Navarrete, not a lot of big options for him because he fights for Top Rank. In the featherweight division, everybody's kind of scattered. You got a couple guys that fight for the PBC, a few guys there. You got a couple guys that fight for DAZN, and you got a couple guys that fight for Top Rank. So it's not the most rewarding division in terms of fights that can be made right out the gate. So Navarrete's going to have to search for that fight. Hopefully it comes. I would love to see him and Galahad unify belts. I'd love to see Navarrete and Jesse Magdaleno go at it, but we just got to wait and see. For Joet Gonzalez, coming off that loss to Navarrete, not sure what he does next, but he's young enough and he's just going to have to pretty much start from scratch and start over. But the fact that he went out, didn't get knocked out, fought hard, it was somewhat of a close decision. He really earned his respect, and everybody knows that this guy is a player at 126. He's just got to build himself back up. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. That's the What's Next on Emanuel Navarrette. True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.